Hey, I'm PH, and welcome to another episode of Good Bible Knowledge with PhD. In this set of videos, I want to provide a helpful and enjoyable way to understand common questions about the Bible. I hope you'll find these videos helpful for your own spiritual journey in Jesus. So, let's get started. Who is Gideon? Gideon was the fifth and most well-known judge of Israel. Because of Israel's disobedience, God caused a people called the Midianites to oppress the Israelites for 7 years. And because of their great suffering, the Israelites cried out to the Lord. It is here where we meet Gideon, a timid young man from the tribe of Manasseh who was threshing grain inside a winepress because he was afraid. And God spoke to Gideon, saying, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. You will deliver my people from the Midianites." Gideon, who was hiding in fear, needless to say, was very confused. But God told Gideon, "Go in the strength you have, and God will do the rest." The first thing God commanded Gideon to do was to destroy the pagan idols that Gideon's father had set up in his own house. Since Baal worship was very popular in Israel at the time, Gideon knew that this would be risking death from the community. But in obedience to God, Gideon did just as the Lord commanded. And in the morning, instead of being killed, the people gave Gideon a nickname, Jerubbaal, which means this man has resisted the false god Baal without consequences, proving that false idols are nothing. During the spring harvest, the Midianites gathered their armies to prepare for their regular invasion of the land. And though he was outnumbered 4-1, Gideon sounded a trumpet to gather the armies of Israel to resist. Before the battle, Gideon consulted the Lord, and to his surprise, God said, "Gideon, your army is too big. Go to them and say anyone who is afraid may go back to his lands in peace." And at this time, 2/3 of Gideon's army returned home. At this, God said to Gideon, "Your army is still too large. Order your men to go to the stream and drink, and keep those who use their hands to drink. The rest you will send home." Gideon did just as God commanded, and those who used their hands numbered only 300. And then God said, "Now everything is just right." That evening, God instructed Gideon to divide his armies into 3 groups. They were to carry trumpets and torches covered in jars. And when they surrounded the camp, they were to blow their trumpets and break their jars and shout together. The Israelites did exactly as the Lord commanded. And when the Midianites heard the shout and saw the torches, they believed that a powerful army was about to destroy them. And in confusion and fear, they fled before the Israelites. It was in this way that Gideon and his 300 defeated the Midianites. It was not through military might, but rather through obedience to God. After the victory, the Israelites wanted to make Gideon their king, but Gideon refused, knowing that only God deserved to be the true king of Israel. Gideon served as Israel's judge for over 40 years, and the land enjoyed peace and the blessing of God. Unfortunately, as soon as Gideon died, the nation of Israel returned to its disobedience and idolatry, leading to another cycle of God's discipline through the time of the judges. Gideon was a bright spot during the dark time of the judges because of his sacrificial obedience. Though outwardly Gideon and his army seemed rather ordinary, God's power enabled him to have victory over an apparently far superior army in order to bring freedom and peace to the land. Jesus, God's Son, came to earth in an ordinary appearance as a child in a manger. And through his sacrificial obedience, Jesus demonstrated the power of God, which had victory over death through his resurrection. And now Jesus offers this same victory to every person who would put their faith in him. Thanks for listening to another episode of Good Bible Knowledge. We'll see you next time.